Do you know that there are more successful people in Ghana today than before? Well, that is the truth. And the secret is in prudent financial planning with the right financial manager. You need to know the right fund manager who spends your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. That manager is at Gold Coast Fund Management. At Gold Coast, your money never sleeps. It revolves every second to give you more money for use when you really need it. For the past 21 years, Gold Coast Fund Management has held a strong reputation of spending people's money to beat inflation, depreciation, and treasury bill rates. Put your money to work. Move from savings to investment. Pay your investment tithe into the Gold Fund and Gold Money Market Fund, and be assured that when you are in need, you can turn to them to resolve your financial problems. Gold Coast Fund Management. Investment advice worth its weight in gold.
Business Television Africa is your television network that provides you with quality programs, innovation and technology to advance the African dream and the high quality of life. On Business Television Africa, you get to hear true stories of business people in Africa and in the world. BTA is in French.
J'aime regarder Business Television Africa.
And English. You can watch Business Television Africa via satellite or on First Digital Box.
On the mountain itself, you will see the vegetation is very good, and on top of the
The African Business Talk analyzes Africa's business development and how policies and initiatives affect the lives of the African. The talk aims at opening opportunities for industry as well as sound trade cultural practices between business owners and entrepreneurs in continental Africa and in the diaspora. Don't miss it as we engage think tanks, businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, chief executives, innovators, and people who have worked to transform countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, Benin, Togo, South Africa, Botswana, Egypt, and many other African economies. The African Business Talk, live on Business Television Africa.
Looking for a venue for your wedding reception? Conferences and retreats, outside catering, recreation? Look no further than Coconut Grove Beach Resort Hotel, located in Elmina. Coconut Grove Hotels, memories worth repeating.
Business Television Africa is your television network that provides you with quality programs, innovation and technology to advance the African dream and the high quality of life. On Business Television Africa, you get to hear true stories of business people in Africa and in the world. BTA is in French.
J'aime regarder Business Television Africa.
And English. You can watch Business Television Africa via satellite or on First Digital Box.
The African Business Talk analyzes Africa's business development and how policies and initiatives affect the lives of the African. The talk aims at opening opportunities for industry as well as sound trade cultural practices between business owners and entrepreneurs in continental Africa and in the diaspora. Don't miss it as we engage think tanks, businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, chief executives, innovators, and people who have worked to transform countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, Benin, Togo, South Africa, Botswana, Egypt, and many other African economies. The African Business Talk, live on Business Television Africa.
Africa is becoming more populous and richer. It has experienced unprecedented and uninterrupted economic growth for the past 3 decades. But if African countries are to become economically successful, their governments will have to implement adequate policies which contribute to the expansion of the private sector, job creation, and an increase in the productivity levels. Corruption must be dealt with in Africa. Unemployment, mainly among the youth, is another challenge facing African leaders. These and many more issues that hinders our growth will be discussed on the banner and provide the why, how, and what to accelerate the continent's dream of economic freedom. Watch on the banner every Saturday. It's going to be hot, heated, but focused. Africa's future success will depend on stability, sound policies, and solid institutions. Don't miss this.
Do you know that there are more successful people in Ghana today than before? Well, that is the truth. And the secret is in prudent financial planning with the right financial manager. You need to know the right fund manager who spends your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. That manager is at Gold Coast Fund Management. At Gold Coast, your money never sleeps. It revolves every second to give you more money for use when you really need it. For the past 21 years, Gold Coast Fund Management has held a strong reputation of spending people's money to beat inflation, depreciation, and treasury bill rates. Put your money to work. Move from savings to investment. Pay your investment tithe into the Gold Fund and Gold Money Market Fund, and be assured that when you are in need, you can turn to them to resolve your financial problems. Gold Coast Fund Management. Investment advice worth its weight in gold.
On the mountain itself, you will see the vegetation is very good, and on top of the
Africa is becoming more populous and richer. It has experienced unprecedented and uninterrupted economic growth for the past 3 decades. But if African countries are to become economically successful, their governments will have to implement adequate policies which contribute to the expansion of the private sector, job creation, and an increase in the productivity levels. Corruption must be dealt with in Africa. Unemployment, mainly among the youth, is another challenge facing African leaders. These and many more issues that hinders our growth will be discussed on the banner and provide the why, how, and what to accelerate the continent's dream of economic freedom. Watch on the banner every Saturday. It's going to be hot, heated, but focused. Africa's future success will depend on stability, sound policies, and solid institutions. Don't miss this.
Looking for a venue for your wedding reception, conferences and retreats, outside catering, recreation? Look no further than Coconut Grove Beach Resort Hotel, located in Elmina. Coconut Grove Hotels, memories worth repeating.
Business Television Africa is your television network that provides you with quality programs, innovation and technology to advance the African dream and the high quality of life. On Business Television Africa, you get to hear true stories of business people in Africa and in the world. BTA is in French.
J'aime regarder Business Television Africa.
And English. You can watch Business Television Africa via satellite or on First Digital Box.
The African Business Talk analyzes Africa's business development and how policies and initiatives affect the lives of the African. The talk aims at opening opportunities for industry as well as sound trade cultural practices between business owners and entrepreneurs in countries.
second segment when we meet the mainstream politicians to dissect the issues. This is purely an economic platform, and we treat the issues with regards to the government of the day as an institution. So most of our discussions are issue-based and very constructive in criticism, solution-oriented. With me for this discussion is Mr. Alistair Terry Nelson of the PPP, Honorable Timothy Atabuade Alto Tirim. He's going to tell me, he's going to correct me on the pronunciation, but I'll get there. After this, he needs to school me of the NDC, and Mr. Arnold Boateng, who comes from or represents the AFAC. We'll still delve into the matters about the economy, and strictly for this afternoon, we'll look at the issue of how things are being managed vis-a-vis the single spine allegation of having a negative impact on our economy. If it's true, I mean, we'll look at it in the merits and demerits of this whole issue. It's become very controversial. I'm sure this is an issue that a lot of public and civil servants will be very much interested in. Let me start with the AFAC. They are more of a research oriented group, institute, in quotes, with a lot of suspicion around their heads by people like Honorable Do. You're welcome, Arnold. Well. It's all about the economy. There's a lot to discuss, so the faces will repeatedly be seen by our audience day in, day out. Don't forget, we have our WhatsApp lines activated, so you can always send. I'll make the lines available to you in course of the discussion. What do you make your first time generally of the economic situation now?
Thank you very much. Let me. It's my first time.
Yes. You're welcome to the family.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm happy with the family.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I did some background work yesterday.
Okay.
I think your programs are a bit research-based, issues-based.
Seriously.
Than the other things that come across. With the economy, I will not. The economy is not doing well at all.
I should have asked that question anyway, because it's too obvious.
No.
Honorable even knows that.
Yes, he knows that.
You don't know that.
He knows that. And the challenge we have is not even the economy not doing well.
All right.
But the lack of clarity.
All right.
On the vision of the president and government for the nation, on the economy. For you to move forward, you must know where you want to go.
All right.
If there's no clarity as to where you want to go, then the issue is that where do you go? That's why it seems like things are falling apart. Issues are being thrown here and there, and the government has become reactionary. There's a challenge, they react on it. When the challenge goes down, they recede and new challenges come across. People are blaming the finance minister. He's not a finance guy anyway.
I disagree with them.
Yeah, but the president or the presidency should take leadership on the issue. He should not wait for Baumia or any economy to give a speech for him to respond to the issues. He must tell us where you want to take the nation to. But once that vision is clear, then you can ship your ministers, you can ship the nation behind you.
Okay.
Look, if it was clear as to where you want to go and the economy is as bad as this, Ghanaians will have accommodated him. Right. But they know that we are going somewhere, but the going is getting tough. And we have self-toughness. I would say, tightening your belt. So by and large, the economy is not good, but the greater danger is the lack of clarity and vision of the president as to where he wants the nation to relate to economy.
I seem to disagree with you. Yes. The president has just called the forum and says, come on board, let's see what to do, because there's crisis. And the crisis might not be just internal. It might be due to external shocks as well. So is it not, gathering himself as someone with a vision? If
you look at the declaration, the issues which were raised, none of them was new. They've been raised over and over again by Commissioner Kwame Mpenni has raised them. Many economists have raised those issues. So those issues shouldn't. And then it's not issue of even external; it's internal. We are spending more than we are making, and no economic advisor will put himself on the table for that such act.
Is it not because we are expectant? We are expecting some big money from somewhere.
The expectations were $3 billion.
So
never came. So Nigeria was promised $8 billion. It's taking 14 years. Now they've only raised about $740 million from China, but they were promised 18 billion from China 8 years ago. You don't build your economy or your projection based on promises. You build them based upon your revenue, and our revenues have not been rising up.
I think that is very sensible. What you have,
yeah, you plan within that. So if there's any wind flow from elsewhere,
that's extra.
Extra, becomes a bonus for you. But if you plan on expectations and you fall short, then they become a gap which will be difficult to meet. And let's face it, the corruption too has beset this government right from day one. Some of them we cannot blame the president, but we can blame him for his lack of leadership on fighting corruption. But there have been corrupt practices.
Most of the cases are in court, so.
No, but look at the nation renovation, hospital renovation thing. It's so amazing that people, it's sometimes even nauseating. The state hospital renovation. So the rich hospital renovation. The rich hospital renovation. So it's so nauseating that if you so embarrassed as a Ghanaian to comment about it. Not far away in Nigeria, Mr. Dangote is building a 1,000-bed hospital, 11 theaters, 4 theaters, 11 bungalows, from scratch to complete refurbishment, everything.
Arnold, I am in construction. I want to disagree with you. You know why?
Yes.
Finishing, what goes into construction? There's not just the size. But that is what I want people to work on, the details, what really amounts to it. But it's not just the size. I think it's too simple to say someone is building the same rooms or whatever.
Yeah, I had finished.
All right.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that a similar structure, bigger, twice the size of what we are building here, is called the $13.38 million. What we are building here is half the size. Let's take the estimates of the equipment from, let's not go to China, which are cheaper. Let's go to Britain or Germany. The hospital equipment, lab equipment, and take the higher values. If we take it, that project there should not even amount to more than $54 million from what they've told us. And I've seen a report by the Crown Office, by Imani, which says that the contractor was queried by the Crown Office, and they did an investigation which according to the contractor, the price for the work that they are doing is around $3.4 million. So the question now is that if that is the case, then where for the $300 million? And the Minister for Health has come out and said that the budget, the loan agreement he sent to Parliament to cater for the construction is only $250 million. So she has no idea where the extra $50 million is coming from. The point I'm making is that prices of items are being bloated beyond reason. So we are spending more. There's a strain on the economy. Or with English taxes, road tolls by 300%. Condoms are being taxed. VAT is being introduced on so many items. The question is that where are those monies going? If you don't seal the leaks in the government pot, the monies you take, no matter how much money is put in there, you still lose some of the money. So the question is that I want Ghana to succeed, but I decided to stay in Ghana, not to go anywhere. Yeah. So I always make inputs with the mindset that somebody will listen. And by listening, action will be taken, and people who are corrupt or who are sleazing the system will be punished. So we can cut our coat according to our size and move within it. By and large, the economy is not doing well. And that's the bigger danger is that actions being taken, the Century Declaration, the actions there are nothing new. But the other issue is there the political will? As a president has the political will, the energy,
but the president has 2 years more. I'm sure he's listening. And by the end of his tenure,
I hope so. He can salvage his image.
I hope so.
Yeah, yes. He can salvage his image.
There'll be some radical moves to tidy up.
And
I hope it will not be too late.
Yes, that's our worry now. Because if he doesn't move as quickly as possible, and this year, by September, we are seeing this mess, he's gone. But he cannot react. No, I'm knowing he's gone, like he cannot have the energy to fight back. Yeah, because by September, there will be new moves for his own party elections. I mean, he's gone, doesn't mean being removed. But the energy is there. Yeah, the curve, once the curve goes to a certain level, it's difficult to come back again.
That is true.
And he's now at the border. When he descends further, he cannot come out again.
It's at the cliff.
At the cliff. And it's a matter of energy and public perception.
Okay.
You pass through everywhere in Ghana. Taxi driver, everybody is crying. When that such huge outcry goes up, it becomes difficult for you to get a political one. And MPP is going to the election primaries very soon. After September, the nation will want change, and that may spell doom for the government. But that is not to say that the government cannot do anything from now to that time. I sincerely hope that he will listen and he will try as much as possible to put in place mechanisms to move forward. But the first act that I would advise him is unusual coming from me. I'm not supposed to advise him.
But we are Ghanaians. That is what it's supposed to
my
be.
First advice, yes, my first in Ghana to succeed.
And Onawo is very happy with that one.
And my first advice to him is to get his ministers in line. Seriously, once he gets the ministers behind him, he can move forward. But if the Minister of Finance is doing something else, the presidency, Parliament is doing something else, and the grassroots too are also doing what they want, because some have enjoyed, some are now hungry. Then we have what they call things on the part.
With ministers doing well, there's an issue on board. A lot of contradictory statements when it comes to heads of these institutions, the political heads.
Yeah.
What is that? What can it be attributed to?
First of all, let me say good evening to our cherished viewers,
Beautiful.
wherever that they find BTA and they are watching us this afternoon. I like the way he ended, and I would want to say kudos to that ending, because as a president, you must be seen to be working in unison. You must be seen to move your people along. The presidency must be seen to be working with cabinet vis-a-vis the party, national executive, and parliament. They shouldn't stand as three entities. We have the Trinity, in terms of even the biblical saying, the Holy Trinity. So the presidency is there, yes, we are all following them. I would want to see the presidency, members of parliament, our national executive, the three of them working together as a team. As we stand today, I believe that the team is not, we are not working in a cohesive manner that we should be working as a political party. I think I agree with him. But let me start from the economy. You see, Afak, you say you don't know the president's vision. The president, Econ, is not a visionless president. He sold his manifesto to the people. That is the president's vision. And the people bought into it and voted.
Intended vision.
Yes.
Intended.
It's not a vision.
Intention.
It's not a vision.
Because what is on the manifesto is not absolutely achievable. And he himself on one stage has said that these are intentions.
I agree with you.
He's a very good
they are intention, but they are at the same time visions. You cannot get a clear dichotomy between the intention and the vision as a president. And as a big family like the NDC, we came together and put this is what we intend to do. If the reins of governance is given to it, it has been given to us. We are pursuing them one after the other. And then we use budget to achieve those visions. You understand? Let me tell you, most of the issues that we are doing now are directly from our manifesto. I didn't know I would have brought them and even read that the recent education forum that they had, the president went to address to see the linkage between industry and education as to what the graduates we are churning out today, whether they can fit into the private sector, and whether can the private sector also train them and accept them as interns.
Yes,
it's directly in our manifesto, direct, word verbatim. When you look at the free education that they say with hijack Akufo-Addo's weapon, in fact, when you open chapter 70 of the NDC Constitution, you see it verbatim there. The difference was that the Akufo-Addo's led MPP said that they were going to do it immediately. We said we're going to do it with the course of time.
Some of your members came out boldly and said,
no, it's there.
It's there. Because there's two populists. I'm not talking about what is written, but what is said on the platform.
Yes. So if you see,
the recorded voices are there.
Yes.
And that is what hurts me most.
No, if you even see, if you see them, we said that we're going to create access to education. We're going to ensure that more people get access. Then from there, you begin to implement the secondary free education, for which we timed ourselves and said next year. We talked about the 200 schools. We talked about the sustainable. We talk about the sustainable energy that we have to produce and so on. We haven't the preparatory stages are in place to put up the 200. It hasn't. Look, the issues that we know, and the president knows that if we don't build the 200 secondary schools, we are finished.
With the shoes for the children before? Please, I'm
No. You know,
I'm interested about some.
I'm coming. The shoes will come. The shoes are yet to come. This is a proposal. I think modalities will be put in place to ensure that the production of the shoes.
Is government as an institution desperate? Because we are not tackling one thing after the other. It's like everything spread across.
We are a social democratic.
My problem is right now as I speak, I'm telling you, this is for the government. If the government doesn't know, district and municipal district education
Yes.
are taxing schools to bring part of their extra classes money, 50% or less, to them to even supervise schools. No chalk to come. It was imported from China when we have chalk here. So what is the commitment to the vision?
You see, these are illegal fees. You remember when the government told heads of secondary or heads of education institutions not to charge illegal fees? I think you are aware of that.
Yes.
Schools in Kumasi went ahead, public schools, so not private school, went ahead and charged exorbitant illegal fees, and they were punished for that. This is the first information I'm getting. If indeed there are schools down at the district levels that are public schools and they are charging and putting pressure on parents, and putting parents
that they should bring a quota of
normally the problem is this. Normally the problem is that we are torn between the PTA, what they are asking for the betterment of their own children, vis-a-vis the school administration, and what government says here. If it is that the PTA held a meeting and agree that they should give extra money for extra teaching to be given, for which I am against.
I'm not even talking about that. That is an agreement.
Yeah.
But if the municipal education office, which should be regulated by a central ministry, okay, is asking that.
This is the first time I'm hearing that, and I'm not challenging. Yes, I am not even challenging you, and I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up seriously. I'll pick it up. He knows, and I know that I'll pick it up because when we look at our backgrounds, where we are coming from, it's even difficult for our parents to pay for weekends. So if they are demand, if the education office has an indictment, and I'll personally pick it up, I can assure you that you can call me when we resume the week, Mondays. I'll personally go, even from here, I'm going to make a call to one of the directors and let them find out.
I want to be involved.
I will. But be that as it may, we are going on. And then let me come to the economy. You see the MPP. You see what they are telling us.
We are not talking about the MPP issue.
No. We are talking. Yes, we are. I'm coming. Certainly, I know. He talked about the fact that at the economic forum that we held at Senchi, none of the issues that we discussed and brought out, the 22 points that were brought out, is new. So the MPP are asking us to go and discuss the unknown. Do you get what I'm saying? We know them, and we've called a consensus. We've called a forum for a consensus to be built on it. They are asking us to go and discuss the unknown. No, you said that the 22 points, everything.
Don't mind any heckling from anywhere.
I know the heckling where it's coming. And you know what? And the PPP also said that they were vindicated because these points have been raised over and over again. The question is this: you know Boko Haram?
I know Boko Haram.
And you know that we've been discussing about Boko Haram. Do the French president have to call people to come and discuss about Boko Haram when we knew it? The U.S. Security Council, every year and at any time, when there are disturbances of the security issues of this world, don't the U.S. Security Council call the world powers to come and then discuss them? Because we know there's terrorism in the world, there's human trafficking, there's prostitution. We shouldn't talk about them because they are already known to us. What sort of infantile argument is this? Because the issues have been discussed, we shouldn't call a forum to have a convergence of
I
ideas.
think you are convincing me to disagree with you because alternatives. Go ahead.
You understand? Well, yes, it is even better for us to go there as a family, discuss and put the issues and say, look, these are the issues that we agreed at Senchi. Are you going by them or you are deviating after maybe 6 months or so? We have short, medium and long-term plans. A medium-term plan could be a 5 years plan to achieve a long-term plan, which is about 25 years ahead. So you can use the medium term, which is 5 years, to achieve a long-term plan, probably for 25 years to come. That is how policies and that is how plans are done. We cannot say because we know that our Akosombo Dam is drying up, we shouldn't talk about Akosombo because we knew it years passed by. And let me tell you, because we knew very well that we have energy problems, that's why we keep adding on to our energy megawatts, and we have told ourselves that by the year 2016 we are going to produce energy to 5,000 megawatts.
What are the radical measures that we should?
You see, the radical measures are that interim for now. For now, that we said is that we must begin to look at how to mobilize an internal revenue. Look, The whole issue of the century.
issue of the internal revenue is what we're talking about, the kind of gaps and the loopholes.
I agree. You talked about corruption.
How do we
corruption is a
$1.2 billion.
I think that's an underestimate.
Underestimate.
I sincerely believe that the Tema Port alone, we are losing more than 1.2 billion through corruption.
So why are we?
The Tema Port.
I'm happy at this stage.
And I'm also.
The politicians all agree that we can do better.
Yes. And Takoradi hasn't yet come home. Airport hasn't come. Our porous borders have not yet come. So probably we are losing more than we project in the budget for revenue.
Said it's even an understatement.
And leave that aspect, leave that even our porous borders and whatnot. Even look at the corrupt system and the bureaucracy. Every step you move is corrupt. Every step from here to the presidency down.
That is the status quo now.
But we must fight. That is why the president has time and again said that corruption is not a one-man.
What are his signals? That is what
look at his signals. Yeah.
The
signals. What are the signals are that we are.
Has he fired somebody?
Yes, we certainly have fired. They are before court. Once they are before court and the people are fighting it, there's nothing you can do.
The issue about the constitution, the Attorney General's office, and Minister of whatever justice should be disentangled.
My brother, these are constitutional issues. We went round and we did a constitutional review.
Are we treating it as an urgent
I'm coming. You see, one thing about, they must pass through Parliament. That is the issue. The constitutional review report that came, Parliament must debate it before it becomes law. It was only a coalition of the views of the people about what the process, about the clauses in the constitution that we need that it should be changed. You understand? But it must still go through parliamentary proceedings before it becomes an act. Then the president assent to it. It is when it is brought to the president failed to assent to it, put his signature, then you can see that he has run away from making a law to fight corruption or separating the Attorney General office from the Chief Justice, what do you call it, the Minister of Justice office. Unless those issues are brought on the table of the president, and then he fails as the president to assent to sign, then you can take the president off.
Expedite action on it, Mr. Tyro. Don't we have to expect, if it is that urgent, we all agree here that more can be done. Even with the whatever of traditional, the dwindling revenues gathered from the traditional exports, whatever, at least the holes are there to be plugged. And that alone can serve as some kind of backup.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. And to go
I think we speak up a little bit.
To go on clearly on the issue, he mentioned that we in the PPP said we're vindicated. Before the election in 2012, this is our 10-point agenda that we set ourselves to go into government to come and accomplish. We had timelines to accomplish this thing in 4 years. Read this thing and read the 22-point agenda. You see that Senche is wasting everybody's time. If the people of Ghana had this thing to choose between and they ignored it.
It's not because we have a culture of making sure everything becomes a formality. It should be formal.
Beyond that, probably you have your 10 points. The other political parties don't also
your manifestos are Bibles. People can't even.
No. What I'm talking about, what you want to tell us that it is from
Chapter 6, Directive Principles of State Policy. That's what you started with.
Yeah.
And if you read Article 34(2) of our Constitution, the President shall go to Parliament once a year to go and tell Parliament how he's realizing the policy objectives so contained in Chapter 6. If you have done that every year in 22 years and you have done that, you would have gone somewhere and not come with this dead. This one is, Senche is dead. It's a dead consensus.
I disagree. I think it's just a confirmation of all what the thoughts might be.
Why are we paying people? We have been paying former President Rawlings, former President Kufuor. It means that they didn't do the work that they were supposed to do and they have left it to come back in 22 years. What are we doing? Let's go back and work with the Constitution. And look, it's because there's expertise that abounds in other political parties. You understand? And because of the winner takes all thing, we cannot go and borrow expertise. We cannot go and borrow human beings who have the technical knowledge to come and help us.
The president of the day does not what a winner takes also. He says, come, let's go to Senchi.
It's
a united front.
6 years in government. Since they started, let me tell you something.
Better late than.
No. When you know what you are doing, you don't sit here and say better late than never. They started with XTS Korea. Did they involve anybody? They knew there was better.
It was a parliamentary decision.
Oh, my friend, it failed. All those
came to Parliament.
They shouldn't get end of service gratuity at all. Bad laws, bad decisions. It has cost the state. Then you come to SADA.
Isn't it excellent on behalf of the president to say, oh, perhaps I made mistakes. I said this last. And we are repeating ourselves that he's committed mistakes.
So how will we solve the housing problem? Do we have the plan? Do we have a plan in the 5 years to solve the housing problem in the SES Korea field? We came with SADA. We said 5 of the regions out of 10 were poor, the eastern, the central, and the 3 northern regions. We decided to invest heavily in the 3 northern regions. What came of it? What came of SADA? We couldn't even invest the money to get the financial bubbles to go around and pick and invest in the eastern and central region. Currently, the money we sent to the northern regions have been blown away. What about the eastern and central region? What do we do to them? This is intentional government policy. They decided to send the money where they sent it.
Well, that is your opinion.
No, what has happened? The money leaked out.
That is your opinion.
The money intentionally leaked out because there were people to do the job. There was a Millennium Challenge account for SADA to learn from. Just take the Millennium Challenge account and see how compact that.
I agree. The Iraja projects,
yes,
whatever.
That succeeded.
Could have learned from
them. Could have learned from them. They couldn't do it. And you understand? You are talking about corruption too in this system. A democracy that allows members of parliament to be members of the executive. You understand? A democracy that allows a minister of state, who is an attorney general, to also double as a minister of justice. A democracy that allows the president.
Issues,
my friend is killing us.
We need to
2 years. We have created the constitutional system by allowing these things to go on. You see people who are supposed to be in parliament to check the executive are not doing so because they want to cut the hair of the speaker to be made a minister. Instead of standing there.
That is common knowledge now.
Yeah, but the parliament must check the executive. 3 arms of government, independent of each other, working for the success of this country: the judiciary, the legislature, and then the executive. What have they been doing? They are in bed. You see the speaker going about, cannot question government.
I'm told
the right thing.
Executive expenditure is even too high now.
When they cannot check it, they must be able to stand on the president to live within our quote according to the size of our cloth and the pattern of our cloth. They are not doing that. A poor country. Look at how corruption has eaten all of us.
I like that statement. Why is it that is normal of us? It's a cliche. Cut your cloth according to your size.
You know,
how come that
practically
in their life you are unable to do it?
No, practically you need to have these attitudes growing up yourself.
These are things you be able to
no. You have to be able to do it. It's about good family values coming from it, good moral.
That is how we are brought up. No, how come the way it comes to politics? No. Excuse me, at national level, we cannot apply these basic values. My brother, why? What is wrong with that?
It has been the values is leadership. The leader must set certain standards, and the people look up to the leader. It's like a chief. We all look to the chief. The chief falters, most of us.
Is there anything the president can do radically? That's what I want to
it's for him to set the example.
How would he set the example? I mean, the constitution is there.
Yeah, there's something that the president, as we know, is people know him by what we see on TV.
Yeah.
But by his larger life is known by people in private life who gossip or who say what he does. So the TV image may be good, but what you hear of my is private life.
But we all like that. We all have our private life.
Yeah, that's the point. And people take information and make decisions based upon both the private life and the public life.
Okay.
That's what happens with the presidents or political figure, public figure. I think we will have to let the president and the leaders also set the pace for us on some of these issues. Issue of corruption has to be dignity and responsibility. If you go to UK, the politicians are somehow corrupt almost everywhere.
Is business everywhere?
Yes, but ours is too much. There's a story brief for somebody said that the person went to Malaysia. He said, "Oh, look at the streets. Streets were good, skyscrapers." He said, "Here in Malaysia, we took 40% and spend 60% on the public. You in Africa, you took 29% and 1% on the people. So you have nothing to do. Both cases are wrong. But the situation is that there must be a consensus and a decision to do the right thing for our people by investing in the people. The issue of the 10 point that the PPP put forward, nothing prevented the president from adopting them. Simple. Nothing prevented the president. Simple. So for you to go to Senche and bring a similar thing which have been around, and after spending who knows how many millions of cedis on a project, it's a waste. It's a waste of time and resources. The fact that you are the president and you are the leader you've taken over doesn't mean that good ideas elsewhere should not be brought into the system. We all want to succeed. The president, the NDC wants a third term. But the way they are going about
I know the president to be a very liberal person.
Yes, liberal person.
Yeah, that's what we want him for.
And if that's what he's taking to his presidency, then I pray for this country. Because there are hawks in all political parties who may want to take advantage of leaders' liberalism and may want to loot the system to their personal advantage. So if that is
he needs to crack the whip.
Yes, he needs to crack the whip and get the people to act. My friend was making an issue about corruption. It's nobody saying that corruption can be uprooted to 0% in 4 years. But the point is they must move from one point to the other. And that point that we must move from is that cracking the whip on all ministers and getting the right things being done. If you don't do that, you allow the system, that canker to flourish. You see, I was reading a book by Lee Kuan Yew from third world to first world in 35 years. He came to Ghana and he said, he met Nkrumah, and then Nkrumah asked one of his ministers, Kobadu said, should take him on a trip, on his yacht. On the yacht, there was a guy there with him, and Mr. Kobadu said, and Lee Kuan Yew asked Kobadu, said, who is this? And the guy said, oh, this guy cannot speak English. So the guy, then he asked the guy, what course did you do? And the guy said, oh, I did classical studies. And he said, you are a country, you have independence now. Why don't you train more people in economics, in engineers, while we are already training people
classical or whatever.
Yes. And he concluded that our priorities are wrong in that particular instance. That system has grown over 50 years till now, and we still don't have our priorities right. Because the issue of education, whether it's a Kufuor's policy or in that state in the constitution, whatever it is, if you agree to implement it, it's good for the nation. We have 2 years now, not even a single school has involved. And still the government communication team is still...
I don't believe that. I'm sure Honorable will disagree with you. Not even a single
that is my worry. Not even a single school. No.
When it comes to my time...
Where you went to
don't push him to tell you when the
you went to do some...
I hope there's a host.
I was making
please. He's here.
Those issues. Where government has made clear promises, the issues have not been met. We have 2 years now this presidency, and 200 schools. Let's say not even 20 have been built. I won't say one. 20 schools have been built.
No, I think that we need the shoes first.
Yeah, no, the shoes are not part of the manifesto. They've been the government manifesto. We are talking about schools and we are talking about shoes. You see, that's a populism.
Which child has been sent away for not wearing a shoe to class?
You see,
you don't have the right teachers, you don't have the right.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, the populism.
I don't mean to distract you, but I'm interested in that one.
The populism of the NDC is so amazing. There are 2 policy areas where their populism has caused this nation. One is the national insurance, the one-time premium. Number 2 is the single sponsor line. The one-time premium. I was shocked that a clever, intelligent person like Mr. Sylvester Mensah, who as an actuarist, knew that system was unsustainable, went along with it. And just last year, he launched a book saying that the one-time premium is history, it's gone. Experts told him one-time premium was impossible to sustain.
Do we listen?
They didn't listen. And now,
are we listening?
Listen, you see,
yes.
I was a member of the Health Committee. And the current act, the National Health Insurance Act, we brought it, we worked on it, and passed it before I left Parliament. And the MPP members who were on the committee rejected that we should not even insert the issue of one-time premium there. I went to Israel. With 2 members of the MPP on the other side and 2 members of the ADC. Went to Galilee Institute. Went and did a program, I think about 2 weeks program, on the same subject matter, because in Israel, they have a very well tested premium, what they call the National Health Insurance Premium, and then we studied it and came. Finally, when they rejected it at that level, we thought that at the debate on the plenary, and that is on the floor of Parliament, we could be able to push them to accept it. They said they won't accept it. We went for a stakeholders meeting again, call all the stakeholders all over the even brought experts like Dr. Chrisa team. They were the pioneers of this health insurance from outside the world. They were okay. We met at the La Beach there. The thing was rejected there. So fine, if as a country we all found out that it wasn't possible and then we rejected, don't make it look as if it is a populist idea and it failed. No, it was passed through Parliament and it was rejected. Two, you are talking about single spine salary. The single spine salary you are talking about, you know that our internally generated revenue mostly goes to the salary payment. My issue is that my issue with that aspect is simply that we can, if we think that that is what is taking a chunk of our revenue that we raise, we have to step up our revenue mobilization. And that is why the century outcome came out with the fact that we have to broaden the tax base to enable us get more revenue and to reduce corruption. You understand?
That's a medium-term strategy.
Yes, but even long-term, we have to still increase our revenue, because there's no way all the problems that we are having is shortage of revenue. You were talking about our 3 billion that didn't come from China. Probably we wouldn't have even gone for the 3 billion if we had enough money, if we were able to mobilize and close the leakages that is coming as a result of revenue mobilization, that this money ends up in individual pockets and so on. If we are able to do that as a nation, then we can move forward, because we've reached a middle income status. And as a result, the grants and the concessionary loans that we used to enjoy are no more forthcoming. So what do we do now? What is left with is two. Either to go outside there and borrow at an exorbitant interest rate from outside, and we continue to pay our interest rate, or we mobilize revenue internally. And the second thing is for us to do what? To put value to our exports that we originally are exporting raw material up to this over 50 years of independence and so on. If we don't begin to diversify the economy, then our cry is going to be there.
Like we have the solutions,
yes.
Commitment, and
Yes.
implementation.
Yes.
We'll go for a break. Let's go. I like the way we are not running away. We find the solution.
We are not running.
Do you know that there are more successful people in Ghana today than before? Well, that is the truth. And the secret is in prudent financial planning with the right financial manager. You need to know the right fund manager who spends your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. That manager is at Gold Coast Fund Management. At Gold Coast, your money never sleeps. It revolves every second to give you more money for use when you really need it. For the past 21 years, Gold Coast Fund Management has held a strong reputation of spending people's money to beat inflation, depreciation, and treasury bill rates. Put your money to work. Move from savings to investment. Pay your investment tithe into the Gold Fund and Gold Money Market Fund, and be assured that when you are in need, you can turn to them to resolve your financial problems. Gold Coast Fund Management. Investment advice worth its weight in gold.
Business Television Africa is your television network that provides you with quality programs, innovation and technology to advance the African dream and the high quality of life. On Business Television Africa, you get to hear true stories of business people in Africa and in the world. BTA is in French.
J'aime regarder Business Television Africa.
And English. You can watch Business Television Africa via satellite or on First Digital Box.
On the mountain itself, you will see the vegetation is very good, and on top of the
African Business Talk analyzes Africa's business development and how policies and initiatives affect the lives of the African. The talk aims at opening opportunities for industry as well as sound cultural practices between business owners and entrepreneurs in continental Africa and in the diaspora. Don't miss it as we engage thinkers, businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, chief executives in
Atabuade, I won't tell him. I'm sure I'm getting it better now. My tongue is becoming quite flexible. Honorable, thanks. And Mr. Arnold, you see now, I love okro. Arnold Boate, who's at the end. I believe that seriously, we all have realized the problems of this country. The serious issue is about solution and commitment. Honorable, let me begin with you. For today, I really wanted us to look at the single spine, but a lot has been said already, and it goes still into all that we've said. But briefly, the single spine, a lot of experts have said that it is the bane of our economic problems or whatever it is now. Do you agree?
Certainly, I do agree, because my finance minister has come out time and again and cried about the fact that the single spine salary is eating so much into about 70% of it goes into payment of salaries alone, meant for just about 600,000 public workers, as against the 25 million people. And the second, that is the biggest chunk of government expenditure. The second goes into interest payment on loans.
All right.
So what is left for fiscal development and other aspects of our development paradigm is just nothing home to write about. Interestingly, to our development partners, who are supposed to only support our budget. Remember that about 40% of our budget support financially comes from our development partners. Normally they sit together and they play that this is the amount that they are going to, are not forthcoming. And like I said time and again, where we've gotten to as a country, we need to generate our revenue internally. Once and for all. It is about time we
Hold
do.
for a second because of the noise. Sorry.
It's about time we begin to look inward, internal solution to our than to rely on development partners who are now unreliable.
They have their own problems.
They have their own problems. I keep saying that a research that was done that showed that illicit money transfer from this part of the world amounted to $1.6 trillion. 1.6 trillion, more than the amount of money that our development partners and the IMF have given the total of the whole of Africa. And the GDP of Shell alone is more than the GDP of Nigeria. That is one oil company, GDP of Shell. Why would our development partners, who have these multinational corporations here, dupe and they'll collect the money? Why wouldn't they repatriate such money back to this system?
Because technologically you are inept.
We are inept, and they do that because they are using our money. When the slave trade stopped, they divest away of also taking it away apart from the slave trading, and they use those money to support their economies when their economy are melting down. If not, why would a rich man be stealing from a poor man? Ask yourself that question. As we see today, telcos, they are making so much money. None of the telcos in Ghana here that we have a local partnership with them. Our mining industry is virtually owned by the foreigners.
We gave it up.
Yes, our oil industry is manned by our colonial masters. Look, the total amount of money that Cosmos Ghana made from our oil field is $2 billion. More than what the total amount of money that the 25 million people are supposed to enjoy. That is only Cosmos. We have not talked about Talu Ghana, which is the largest. This is the state of sorry we are now. We are in this state because initially our negotiations with them were not the best. We discovered oil, yes. We talked about the fortunes that the oil will come with. A lot of work that we did in Parliament went into the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. And as we see today, that act even restricts government expenditure. We have to pay into the Heritage Fund, which we have paid over $200 million into it. The stabilization fund is there, and then the rest is left for development. But it is even tied to specific areas of development. I think the issue that I have with the way my minister is using the money is that it should not be done piecemeal. If it is 100 million to develop roads, let's push it into that. Don't let us divide the 100 million, some for that, some for that. No, it should be done in that order because the oil has to build consensus as we move ahead and always look back and review our development process. Let us always review.
It's admirable with how frank you can be with some of the issues and your expectations from your minister.
Yeah.
And I hope that your own people listen to you because, I mean, we are in a tight corner.
Yeah.
And sometimes God in his own way, nature will tell you that you really have to stay.
Yeah.
Mr. Taro, do you think the single spine is causing all the mess?
No, I will beg to differ greatly. The single spine rather has come in as a savior to the public expenditure, public pay, and it's supposed to come and bring sanity to the pay problems of government. Why? In the past, we have tried to put up committees, the Isifu Ali committee, the Milzodoe committee, the Justice Azu Crab committee, the F.A. Jampo committee, to look into salaries of this country. The Ministry of Employment has taken the lead, the Ministry of Finance have done proper work in the past, but all they couldn't get the payment of work here in the system onto a single spine. All over the country, the international experience is that countries worldwide who want to value equal work and give equal pay for the kind of work that they have in their system, decided to develop that pay system. And if you watch the name, single spine, they're supposed to align all workers within the system onto a single structure so that the entry and departure points will be noted by well spaced out points. That will mean that as you go up the scheme, you get more remuneration. So it came, yes, to institute competitiveness in the working industry here internally, and to make even work internally to also be competitive for work that is coming outside, and to also make the private sector be able to value the jobs that are around if the public sector one is also doing very well.
It's vibrant.
Yeah, so it came in as a good thing. But here you are, government is complaining that it eats almost about 60%.
And my problem is that we had the averages in terms of revenue mobilization.
Yeah.
So before committing ourselves,
yeah,
what should we have done?
You should have consulted everybody.
Come to terms with reality.
Yeah, it's
not to do it and regret.
Yeah, so I'm saying that, and not only going out to pay, there was the subvented agencies law that will allow that some of the commercial and industrial interests will raise their own money to be able to pay the staff that they hire. That one has not been implemented. Then there's a productivity clause that before the payment will go in, will make sure that workers will be able to put out a certain productive level at their workplaces, so that conditions. On conditions, all these things didn't come. They ran away helter
skelter. Political experience.
Score political points, and now they are caught up in the hook. They are saying that 63% of GDP.
So we're not prudent enough in this implementation.
Even in it, we can make gains. Why? We can expand this economy. This economy is too small to hold the people who are working for it. In America, of all their millions, it's only 700,000 people who work in the public sector. Here we have about 600,000 people. Yet are they delivering the kind of service that the private sector needs or the citizens need in order to transform this country? They are not doing so.
Government has become #1 employer.
And it shouldn't be so. You say the private sector is the engine of growth. Here is a private sector that does not have the correct valve, does not have correct rings. Can you go and fix the engine and put it on a car to move? We must be able to strengthen the private sector here, give them the necessary funding, make sure interest rates are low, give them technical advice so that people who are into entrepreneurship and all that will be able to benefit from government advice.
I agree with you.
And create a market of the kind of production that is going on in the
points you're making, if that had been done,
yeah,
with the implementation of the single spine, it would have stimulated industry because there would have been demand for more demand for local products.
Yes, that's what we are saying. Go ahead. Create a market, because you have the state strategic power. You collect taxes, you collect all the provident funds, and you keep it. When you are going out to buy, make sure what you are buying belongs to Ghanaians or was made in Ghana here, so that the money will go back into those people who made it into their pockets. Exactly. And then when the financial cycle stays here, it will allow it with time for the interest rates to go down, because people demanding loans from banks will now be getting money as they sell their goods within the system within a certain time. And then they'll be able to reinvest, take on labor, even apply technology to be more efficient. You understand? They have not done all these things. And what pains me is that they have missed the point. If you want to
will you use we as a people, not they?
No, they are in government. We give them opportunity to go. Now the politics should be out. We must hold them. We must be constructive to get them to do the right thing, because they are in power. Here they have missed our education. They are going to do a central consensus before they are going to do an industry-related conference, so that we will match our education to industry. That one should have been part of the central thing. If any strong economy in this world that is going on has a strong public education system, go to America, go to Britain, go to Holland, go to Norway, go to Finland. It's because of a strong public education system. That is why the economies are where they are. Here we are, look at our public education system. Where do we want to get with it? You understand? And government is always buying time. This central thing is to buy more time. They failed with JIDA. They failed with STS Korea. They failed with SADA.
They seek to correct it.
No, they are still paying judgment debts.
They seek to correct it.
They still are paying judgment debts. They have a sole commissioner who cannot prosecute all those people that they are talking about. Look at the people who are taking a money and are walking free.
Let the audience join us, and I know that I come to you. Can I start with this? A graduate teacher's net annual salary equals that of the president's monthly salary. So please, they should give us a break and check theirs rather than... Okay, that is Bash from Belgrade. Thank you very much. Spread the news between 3 and 5.
The politicians who have to be put on a single spine, so that we'll check them on them, pay them per productivity and time. They're wasting everybody's time and doing that.
Well, that is debatable. Can I continue? Don't be too emotional. Don't be too emotional. People are more emotional than you on WhatsApp, please. NDC should accept that they made a mistake. Have you someone teaching being paid by ECG? Suba is for ICT only. From Brighton, Kumasi folk, big salute. I have Mr. Host. I hope you will agree with me that your men are speaking the solution, but none will ever act the solution. That is for us here. From Idris Sablugu, folks, thank you very much. Keep it coming every Saturday between 3 and 5.
They are still asking for more time. You people want to give them 4 more years for what?
Education offices do not get the GOG funds needed to run the offices, monitor and supervise schools. So those districts are doing cost sharing. Okay, thank you very much.
Indeed.
Please.
Hey, Charlie.
Thank you very much. That's Joe from Kowu. Thank you. Spread the news. Giving free shoes to school kids is, to me, better than school feeding. Okay, thumbs up for that. Comparatively, this will ensure sustainability of the shoe factory. If not, if it is not coming from MPP, then it is not good. We need Nkrumah's factories back. Shame to those who maliciously caused the overthrow of Nkrumah. Joe Kowu, thank you very much. Keep it coming. I wish government to be watching. Yeah, I wish government was watching to learn from you, from Obi Sunyani for big salute. Depending on China loan is what is running down the country from Obi. Honorable, are you expectant?
6 years.
Please work on your pictures. Please we'll check that sometimes the network is bad. Tell the NDC man and his government that even unborn babies have lost confidence in this unborn babies. It's serious. Can we go on? Oh, NDC, it's man, do you still have the confidence to sit on cameras and talk from Zebula? Well, we have to try. That is why they're searching. Please be moderate. Please say that the truth. The Senchi consensus did not. Okay, sorry, it's a little bit. After we have gone to Senchi, still we will contract to Suba because Suba is the only contractor in the country. From Obuasi folk, thank you. Please, let's say the truth. The Senchi consensus did not help Ghana because after we have gone to Senchi, still we will contract to Suba because Suba is only. Okay, thank you. That is a repetition. Thank you very much, Obuasi folk. The president that is unprintable and cannot execute any proper policy, so they should give us a break. Look what kind of schools have they built, and they said they are coming to do free education. We are tired of their propaganda. They are not even ashamed of. Okay, thank you very much. That is from Intri Boinso. John, thank you very much. Keep it coming. People are still typing. We'll talk about that later. And then I agree with the Honorable on the fact that decisions taken by our leaders are very bad. As of now, we all know what is happening at Koforidua Polytechnic. Over 500 students are being asked to defer their programs because they couldn't get money to pay their fees, 500. And the board of the school has placed notice that they should pay a penalty of Ghana 500 when he is not able to pay the 300 cedis.
Is that true?
That he is owing. Can we blame President Mahama for this? Anyway, we have a problem. I think that the Minister of Education should get to the schools and and then okay, we'll come back. Mr. Host, we should apply the solutions than blaming the blame games. Thank you very much. That is from Oda. Thank you very much. I agree with the Honorable on the fact that the decisions taken by the letters, that is a repetition. Thank you very much. From Kumasi, we should be serious in this country. That is the latest vocabulary, catch vocabulary. Serious. And Mr. Host, I hope you agree with me that your men are speaking the solution. Okay, that is repetition. What a messed up regime of a government. We thought NDC would have done it better than MPP. They both seem, well, keep the solutions coming. I think that we'll be wrapping up just the final. And unfortunately, if I'm not able to read, I'll pick it up next week. But before we end, this is what happens when I meet people like
Let me.
No. I am the host.
It's my turn.
Yes, unfortunately, we ran out of time. Audience is becoming hot and interested, but I'm sorry, the texts are still coming. But please, let's run it up with them, and we'll make more time. I'll tell my production team to be smarter next time. Today we delayed a little. Please, Arnold.
Thank you very much. I think the solutions.
Oh, just take some 1 minute.
Okay. I mean,
the solutions to the problems. The first is to support the private sector.
Okay.
Not because we are overtaxing them.
Okay.
Number two, there should be tax rebates for them.
All right.
The free concept should be strengthened.
that is controversial. The whatever tax-free, whatever is
No,
big.
My second point will let
we'll
you
talk about that
agree.
next time.
The second point that state institutions are collapsing, but they have no funding to go on inspection.
We don't have money.
We don't have money.
That doesn't mean they are collapsing.
I think they are collapsing. If they are not institutions, they are tearing down.
So you shouldn't be raising controversial issues.
They are collapsing, and the economy is not improved.
On the collapse issue, I think that
the economy is not improved because the government.
I want to advise this government. They came boasting that they built
the government of Ghana.
The government of Ghana, led by Dramani Mahama. They came boasting that they built 200 secondary schools. They had forgotten that under the Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy and under the Millennium Challenge account, there had been initiative for the complete school compounds from KG to senior high schools, which had been started in Komanda. Go and see the schools there. And you coming to take over, you didn't continue with it. You say you are coming to build what? 200 new secondary schools. 6 years into your administration. Where are you? Where are the schools? You go and take tax, you increase tax just in January to March. You go and take the money. Instead of investing it in Yanua, where you went to hit ground to go and boast that you are building the first classroom. Where is the money? You put the money in the consolidated fund and paid it out as government debt to some company. So you don't even have a plan going into that. The things are there. The solutions are in there.
I can see you are really bent.
They are only being lazy with implementation.
With all respect,
I want to assure our listeners all over the world, and in Ghana in particular, that the 200-day schools that the president promises is going to build, we are going to build them before the campaign time, because we know that it's a promise to the people of Ghana, and if we don't deliver, they are going to use the same thing to hook us. But what he's saying about compounds and whatnot, that's a different program altogether. But this was a promise the president made to the people, and they bought and voted into it. Just the last one on the Suba. You see, I'm not very happy with what is going on with Suba and then the local government minister. And for me, as a member of the party, I believe that I think that the president should fire the local government minister.
You are too frank.
The president should sack him.
You are not a typical Ghanaian
and then, apart from sacking the president, they have to bring them.
You are not a typical Ghanaian politician. You belong to another school of politics. You are being too frank.
It's a clear
well, that is what this platform is for.
You go and add on to it.
This is what this platform is for. I have to run up here, and that is how we played out here on the banner. My name is X Shalom. One of my audience just begged me, please read. What a mess up regime of a government. We thought NDC would have done. I think I've read that, and you are begging me to hear. So please keep the text flowing. Next week between 3 and 5 on the banner once again. Your suggestions, solutions, keep them coming. We can make wine out of rice. It's called sake. The Japanese are making it. We can do it. The shea nut tree bears one of the sweetest fruits. We can extract it for flavor. Tomatoes can be used as what? Tomatoes powder. We've been there before. All the solutions. You don't need money to plant trees. The forestry department plants trees and it overgrows with the tap roots down. I've done it personally without any money. School children did it for free. We are wasting too much money. We can make it better. On this note, thank you. And my guests, thank you very much for being here. This has been On The Banner. Bye-bye.